Facing challenges and overcoming setbacks is part of doing business. Whether you have the expertise to survive them or not could mean the difference between success or failure. Welcome to We Are Women, featuring revealing conversations that provide invaluable insights into the success secrets of female masterminds. A must listen for every entrepreneurial woman. Now here's your host, Janine Vosper.
Hi, it's Janine Vosper here, and welcome to this episode of the We Are Women podcast. Today with me, I have Kalli Fardoulis. Now, it's Kalli, isn't it, Kalli?
Yeah, Kalli.
Kalli Fardoulis. So, and Kalli loves educating and inspiring and empower women to live the best life yet. Having holistically overcome, I'm going not to pronounce that. I've got all the other words pronounced.
Polycystic ovarian. Amenorrhea. So it's a symptom of polycystic ovarian. It's basically no period. Absent menstrual cycle.
All right. Yes. So, and can you just pronounce that again for me?
I can't really pronounce it very well either, but I'm going to have a go. I think it's called amenorrhea.
Okay, let's go with that.
Let's go with that.
Which is a symptom of polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS. It sparked your interest in becoming a holistic health coach and Reiki practitioner. As the creator of the Blown Away Hair Spa, Southern Sydney's low toxins salon, the Kalli's mission is now helping women blossom through their fertility journey and creating a life worth living. Thank you and welcome. I know you've jumped in already with a couple of things, Kalli.
Thank you, Janine. Thank you for that.
When I found out about what you do, I thought that is so interesting to, combine what you do, the beauty and helping women become fertile, but also and doing it in a non-toxin way.
Yeah, thank you. It is very interesting, and it's sort of a bit of a new concept, I suppose. And it was born, as you mentioned earlier, out of health challenges of my own.
And you had the salon first, or you were working in salon?
Yeah, so I've been in the salon for 15 years this year. And the first 10 years, it was not low toxin. It was just like your ordinary hair salon. And then at the time I was married and we wanted to have a baby, and I had no period. I came off the pill, and like many women, I'd been on the pill for a very long time for symptoms. And when I came off the pill, all the symptoms returned. So I basically went to speak to a gynecologist to find out when I ovulated. And they did some tests. They did an internal ultrasound, some blood tests, and I found out I had polycystic ovarian syndrome. I was also told that the chances of falling pregnant naturally were very slim. So I started researching into natural therapies and natural ways to heal. I had never heard of PCOS at the time. I didn't really have much of an interest in health or anything like that at the time. So apart from like exercising and, thinking I was eating right and all that sort of stuff. So I started researching, and everything just kept leading me back to living more of a low toxin life, which is basically like getting out into nature more, reducing like sugar, gluten, things like that from my diet, eating foods that were like pesticide free or organic. So that's basically how it started. And then the more I read, the deeper I got. And when you just read too much and you're like, I can't actually go back now. I've read too much.
That's it. You can't unknow something.
Can't unknow something. Yes.
Yeah. So what were the symptoms of the PCOS?
So basically I just had no period.
Okay.
That was it. I would say that I had a little bit of like more hair than most people. I always put it down to the fact that I was Greek.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just Greek, but I don't think that's true. I think that when your hormones are out of whack, that you can have, like, some women have facial hair. I didn't have it to that extent, but generally I was a little bit hairier. And I would say a lot of mood imbalance as well. So that was the main symptom of, so basically I could go 6 months without having a period, sometimes 8 months. So when we were trying to have a baby, it was like,
how do you regulate it, and how do you find out when you are ovulating, as you said? And if you are? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that's really, that would have been quite confronting at the time, especially when you've decided, all right, we want to start a family and this is what we're going to do.
Yeah. It was like the universe was like, no, you're not. I have other plans for you. So I basically went in to find out, what day do I ovulate? And then I was told that you probably don't ovulate. And so I walked out of there, but it's like I didn't want to hear it. I was like, thank you for your opinion, but I'm sure that. So I went off to a naturopath and I tried a whole heap of like natural like tonics and things like that. And I ended up losing a lot of weight. Not that I was ever really overweight, but I lost a lot of weight. I felt better. Like I felt much better. The clients kept asking me like, what are you doing? You look amazing. But I still wasn't getting a period. So I ended up seeing like some Chinese medicine. I went to someone for Chinese medicine. I had acupuncture, and I was still reading about how like toxins were affecting you. But, I was like, but I have a hair salon. Because at home I had made all these changes, low tox cleaning products. We weren't eating this, we weren't eating that, going out in nature. And every day I was going into a salon where the toxins were burning my eyeballs. But I was like, but it's okay, because how many people use these products? Like every hairdresser I've worked at have these products. So I didn't really want to believe it. And to be honest, I didn't know where to start, because not that I had known, no one's ever done this before. So after a while, I ended up going to see a fertility specialist at IVF Australia. And I ended up having about 3 rounds of IVF. And again, I said to the doctor one day, because he said to me that we can't do IVF without a period. And I'm like, so why am I here? Like,
right, there's a bit of a catch-22.
What's going on? Yeah, so they were giving me medication to bring on a period. That wasn't working. By this stage, if you had just crossed my path, I would have probably screamed at you, because my hormones were all over the place. And I was just like, there was one stage when the doctor actually said to me, he said, something in your brain is telling your ovaries not to work. So I think what he meant was like stress related. And I had known that in my family, there was a bit of, there was a history of childhood trauma. So I had sort of thought that maybe something had happened to me, but I was very young. And I got to the stage where I'm like, I've tried absolutely everything, from food to like taking things that like taking herbs and supplements. And, I've done so much. I'm like, there's got to be something else that I just don't know about. And after I decided not to go back to IVF, one of my cousin's friends came to visit me, and she said to me, have you ever heard of breath work? And I was like, no, at this stage, I'd never meditated. I'd never done yoga. I was like, no, what's that? And she's like, have a read, check it out. My friend does it. It's fantastic. I was like, okay. So I Googled breath work. It looked like it had some backup, I'm like, all right, I don't know anyone who's really done this before, but it sounded okay. And it was all about releasing like emotions and things that had been stored in the body. I was like, okay, sure. So I went, and at this stage, I actually had a fear of tunnels. I had a fear of flying. I couldn't get in a lift. I had a very different life to what I have now. So I had to get he's now my ex-husband at the time, and my dad to drive me there, because it was in Crow's Nest. So I had to drive 45 minutes, an hour away to get there. So they drove me there. And after the first session, it was a 2-hour session in my gym clothes, a specific type of breathing. And this man, he's actually a cathartic breathwork psychotherapist. So it was a combination of things. And I lay there and I was doing this breathing, and anxiety was coming up. And basically it was just feeling all your emotions like tenfold. Whatever had to come out, it did. It was incredible. And after the first couple of sessions, when we were driving home, my ex-husband would say to me, oh, like you're not scared in the tunnel. And I'm like, oh yeah, like slowly anxieties were just getting shaved off. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then I went for about a year, but every 2 or 3 months, because some of the sessions were exhausting.
Mm.
What started happening was I started to get flashbacks in the session, so in a safe environment, of childhood trauma. So it was like someone was playing a slideshow of my life in front of me and I was watching it.
Mm.
And in one of the sessions, I remember I was crying and I was saying to the guy, oh my gosh. And he's like, what's going on? Tell me what's going on. And I said to him, I can feel blood rushing through my ovaries. Like I could feel it moving. It's like someone had kickstarted my ovaries again. And about a month later, I got my period.
Wow. Isn't that?
That was about 5 years ago nearly. And I get my period every month. So, yeah.
And I mean, that's quite amazing and an amazing story.
Yeah.
And have you had children since then?
No. So what happened was, it was a really, I make it sound really beautiful and really inspiring, and it is, but it was a very difficult time for me. A lot of things came up. I ended up having to go into therapy as well and get a lot of things, like to process through a lot of things from childhood that had come up. And by this stage, it had taken a toll on my relationship with my ex-husband. So
even just trying to go through IVF, I know, is really challenging, and especially with the hormone changes and the stress and everything, it really does make it difficult for couples.
It was super challenging. On top of that, whatever I was going through with all that childhood stuff, and for whatever reason, it didn't work. We grew apart, and I ended up actually going to hospital for 1 month after that happened. I needed a rest. And when I came out, I was like, that's it. I'm rebranding the salon. I refused to go in there. So whilst I went to hospital for a month, we were taught yoga, meditation, nutrition, a whole range of things. And I was like, why are we not taught this before getting to this stage, rather than getting to this stage and then going, and what they now know with PCOS, Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome, is that around the time when a woman gets her period, if there's any like trauma, anything from HSE exams to parents divorcing to sexual abuse to whatever it is, it gets stored in the body. And if in hindsight, I had probably lots of symptoms around that age. Back then, it was just, let's go on the pill, and that masked it for a really long time. So they now know that a lot of like that stress can store in the body, and it can actually affect women and their periods. So for me, going to those breathwork sessions I was able to process whatever had been stored in my body. And I do believe it's like an ongoing thing. It's not like you just clear it once and then it's like, oh, done.
Yeah, no, any of the stress, I know my husband never believed stress caused illness at all. And then he had a heart attack about 4 years ago. And that was his first realization that stress can cause, a whole lot of different responses in the body. And whether it manifests as, with you, the PCOS or cancer or heart disease or just, shoulder pain or whatever it is, it's really important to be aware and have strategies, like you said, you were taught, with the yoga and the eating and the meditation, have strategies in place to be able to deal with that on a daily basis, and whatever that looks like for each person.
Individual. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So getting a low toxin salon, that's, as you said, I can't imagine where you'd be sourcing products or, that whole thing. That's quite a different space.
Yeah, look, I had no idea when I first started. I literally got onto Facebook and I typed in low toxin beauty therapist because I thought, I don't know, I had changed to a product range, which was still lower than what I was using before, but I still wasn't convinced. It still irritated me a little bit. So I wasn't convinced. So I just started meeting people that were using or into the same type of thing. And eventually I met this woman who was a low toxin beauty therapist at the time. So I met up with her, we had lunch, and then we ended up becoming friends. And I went to her baby shower, and at her baby shower, I met a woman who had just had treatment for cancer, who was a hairdresser. And she said to me, I would not use any other range but this one, especially with what I've been through. So I researched the company. And the owner of the company is from Denmark. And I spoke to her a little while ago. She actually had breast cancer also. And she like join this company because of that reason, because of how clean and how like the work they're doing. So just from there, it just started to open doors. That's when I studied holistic health coaching. And that was, I did it mostly, I was like, I want to become a health coach. But I actually started doing it, and I'm like, I actually enjoy doing it for me. Like it was it was helping me to embody what I started learning in hospital and all the other things as well. So
yeah, and that's the important thing, isn't it? What we get out of it as well. And even with these podcast interviews, I just love doing them because I get so much out of them and get to meet awesome people with great stories and just learning different things each day. And as a health coach, so you're a Reiki practitioner, but as a health coach, is it, you know, those concepts, as you said, that you learned in hospital that you share, or there's other particular sort of?
So this is holistic health coaching. So it's all based around women who have busy lives. So it incorporates the yoga, the meditation, the journaling, things like that. It's looking at the stories that you have and what you've taken on from your family, and basically undoing that. So one of the most common themes that comes up with women is like self-care, and they never really had mothers that that knew how to self-care, so they were never taught how to do this. So now it's like foreign for them to actually take time out of their day for themselves, so it's nearly like unlearning everything that we've learned. But through yoga and meditation and mindfulness, we gain the awareness. We have the space to be able to look at our stories and our past and go, okay, that's why I do this, and what are some action steps that I can now take to start moving towards a life that I want to create as well. Yeah.
Look, that sounds, I'm just putting a plug in here because it's exactly what we're doing. I with a friend of mine, we've been friends for about 30 years. She's a yoga instructor and has been for that amount of time. She also teaches Chinese medicine and acupuncture and does a whole lot of other things as well. And she's an exercise physiologist. So her and I are putting together a retreat in March. And so it's that component with her and the Chinese medicine and how the foods that we're ingesting, depending on the time of year or our Chinese medicine component, how that relates. And then I'm doing a little bit that unpacking of the story, but as a speaker coach, then packing it up so that you can tell it to people. And use that as your pitch to get people interested in what you're doing, or even, you know, it may be the basis of your book or whatever it is, but to figure out what that story is and then to be able to tell it in a different way. So it's very much along what you're doing, but we're doing that over 5 days.
That's amazing. That would be incredible.
We're really looking forward to running it. Originally was going to be in Bali last year, but that didn't happen. So it's in Tenterfield now. So it's in the same state that you're in.
Oh, whereabouts is that?
In Tenterfield, which it's up near the Queensland border. It's on the New England Highway.
Okay, there you go. Oh, that'd be lovely.
It's a beautiful rock. There's mountain rock to climb, and it's the oldest town and most historic town in Australia. Anyway, that's off track. But
what a lovely, it'll be lovely. They get to immerse themselves for 5 days. Like they won't know themselves when they come out of there.
I know, we're very, very excited about it, and we've had a few goes at running it, and we just wanted to somewhere different that was maybe supporting the country.
Lovely.
New South Wales area as well. There we go.
Well, this is a thing with, you know, there is the food that actually, that's really interesting what you say about the food, because that's what I like about organic food. One of my favorite restaurants in Sydney, I think it's now closed, but it was organic. And when you'd go in, they'd have a menu, but it would be what's in season. So they might not have hot chips that day because there's no organic potatoes that time of year. So the whole menu was just by what was in season, which I think is great, because that's what generally our bodies are craving for during that time as well. So
and that is a lot of the work that she'll do with that Chinese medicine and addressing what our body needs at the time. And that's an important factor. My husband and I just started going to a naturopath who is also looks at the right food for you. So each of us will have different food, but very much into organic food, and particularly organic meat, because there's so much toxins in meat and growth hormones that it really does affect us and affect our gut brain particularly, and then how our body functions, which then causes the illnesses or the dis-ease in the body. And yes, so it's really interesting looking at the foods, particularly certain things that you think are really good for you, but if you're not getting an organic version of it, you're actually putting more toxins. And one of the ones was broccoli, because it absorbs everything, particularly out of the ground. It's very interesting when you start looking into it, and the list of all of the toxins and all of the things that sort of becomes a bit scary.
It does. That's what happened. That's why I tell people now, when you're on the low tox, when you start the low tox path, just take a deep breath, and it's okay. You didn't know at the time, but now you do, and you can slowly start to make changes, and it's okay. Like, and the same with hair. Like, I was reading not long ago that whatever we put on our scalp enters the three layers of our liver. So not just the one, or it actually goes straight into 3 layers of the liver. Our skin's the largest organ of the body. So whatever goes onto our skin is just as important, if not more, than what we eat. So I was like, wow. I was like, okay, just take a deep breath here. Women still want their hair colored. But and I was having a discussion with someone the other day, because some women, a lot of women come to us either that are having fertility challenges, or maybe they're recovering from surgery, they've had cancer, and I will sit down and ask them, like, was your cancer estrogen based? And some women know, some women don't. And I tend to be honest with them and say to them, look, if it was, whatever I put on it, because one of our ranges, it's 98.9% naturally derived. So there's still a little bit of something in there. It's very low. But I think that women have the right to know and what's going on in their hair. And I tell them that, like, this is a product, this is what it can do. Whatever goes into the body and it doesn't recognize it, it turns it into a xenoestrogen, and it can throw out the balance in your body. I think it's important that you know this, and this is the option that we have if you don't want to go down that path. Some women actually have no idea, they don't know this, and some women are very on top of it, and they're like, I've come here for this product specifically, but women don't know. Like, we've been colouring our hair for how many years?
I'm just looking at mine and just thinking, I'll stand a bit taller, you won't see it then.
No. I've got greys coming through. My clients are like, are you going to colour your hair? I'm like, maybe. I might put some foils through it, but I'm embracing the grey at the moment. I haven't got that many that I can freak out just yet.
And I mean, that's the thing, is it's got to figure out whether balance is there, whether looking good is enough risk, or
I find that a lot of the times I'm coaching the client into accepting themselves more than it's never about the grey. Like, if someone wants to go grey, I'll be like, okay, so what are your beliefs around going grey? Because if you think that only old people go grey, or then let's see if that's true, because I know my mum went grey when she was 20. So it's not an old person thing. So you're not going to be older just because you're going grey. Like, think about what you've been taught about going grey. And like looking, because a lot of the time it's how they look. So I'm like, because I think they look beautiful regardless. And I know that women, like, if you wanted to grow your hair out, it'll take a while for you to get used to looking at yourself like that. And the best example I can give you, I have this client she was probably similar color hair to yours, but shorter. And she's like, I want to grow my hair out. And she's probably in her 70s. And I said, okay, let's do it. And I did it at first. We did a few foils just to transition it so it wasn't that obvious. And then eventually when she was like all grown out and all grey. She was looking at herself and she said, oh my God, I don't recognize myself, you know. And this woman walked in off the street who'd never seen her before, and she said, wow, your hair looks beautiful. You look gorgeous. I said, see, she didn't know you before. You're just comparing yourself to what you've been looking like for how many years. I said, it looks really beautiful. And now she says to me, I can't imagine having color in my hair anymore. So
yeah, it is. I've got a friend that allowed herself to embrace the grey a couple of years ago, and she does. It looks sensational.
Yeah,
it really is good. And so what's your mission now? You know, with what you do, is it just at the salon or? Well,
I'm actually having a meeting with someone today to possibly expand on this. So I've got a few ideas floating around at the moment, but it's basically still to inspire women. Like I like to tell my story because I think there's a lot of women who think that they haven't got any choices other than what they're told by the doctors and all that. And some may not, but I'm like proof that there is ways that you can heal your own body, and your body's very smart. So I guess the toxins thing is still really big on my list. I really enjoy working with the products in the salon and educating people. We host workshops in the salon as well. So I've actually just nearly completed my yoga teacher training. So I've got
cool. Very well done.
Thank you. I really enjoy it. So I've got a few ideas up my sleeve, but I won't give too much away just yet because I still haven't got a clear idea. But definitely still focusing with women and fertility, and just going from there. So
no, that sounds great, and it's such an important factor, isn't it? You know, one of the things that just popped in my head while you were speaking as well. I've always been a big believer in that we're given opportunities, and those opportunities can sometimes be very challenging and very, very stressful, and we can either keep fighting through those opportunities, which we may call difficult times, or and keep coming up against them, but where the universe gives us a bit of a slap, and then it slaps us a bit harder, then it slaps us a bit harder.
It's like, you're not listening, here's another one for you.
And then you can pay attention, as you did, and realize that, and what I like too, that you are open to try anything. Now, a lot of people aren't. I do some alternative forms of healing as well, and I've offered the healing to people who I know this would make an incredible difference in their lives or their children's lives, and a couple of those people are no longer with us, having taken their own lives. When there was, it's one thing, just give it a go. It doesn't matter if it's so bad, then why not try everything? Because it's a bit like that. There's that joke, the guy's on the deserted island and he's been shipwrecked, and along came somebody in a dinghy, and he said, jump in, and he said, no, I'm waiting for God to send me someone, and then someone else comes along in a bigger ship, and then a yacht, and then a bigger ship, and eventually the guy, and he says, no, I'm waiting for God to send me the help, and then he eventually dies. He goes to heaven, and he said, how come you didn't show yourself? And he said, I did.
I sent you all these people.
Yeah, and you just didn't pay attention to it. And I think that really happens to us a lot. Yeah. There's a lot of people that come into our lives that give us that opportunity to learn from them or change the way we do something, but we're not sometimes too closed off, and we miss those opportunities, and then we'll get another slap. And we'll keep doing the same thing the same way over and over again, and nothing changes in life. So really, congratulations in recognizing that within your journey and making such big changes and big steps.
Thanks. Thank you.
Because it wouldn't have been easy to.
No, it's actually still is. Sometimes I get a message and I'm like, no. I don't want to hear that right now. Please, I'm just cruising along here.
I know. One of the things to me is organic meat. Oh, where are we going to get organic meat from?
Oh my God. I know. I was like, I don't want to know that color affects 3 layers of the liver. I have a hair salon. Why are you telling me this? Why? why do I need to know this? So
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah.
It keeps me on track, because sometimes when I think, oh, this is silly, what am I doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, okay, I know why I'm doing this again now. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah.
And I think this is really valuable information for people to hear, and not just the part of your journey, which is such an important story, but it's that whole, changing up, moving away from toxins as much as we possibly can. Why there's a whole lot of diseases that are coming through that we've never had before. In the 1950s, there were one in 64,000 people with autism. Now there's 1 in 50 being born.
Wow.
Why?
1 in 50.
Yeah. I mean, that's ridiculous statistics. And why? And toxins have got to play a huge part in that, I believe, and a whole lot of other things as well. But that's definitely a component of it. And while we're ingesting those toxins, our stomach brain is not getting all the right messages out to the rest of the body.
Yeah, it's overloading. So definitely I agree. And what you mentioned earlier with stress as well, I do have a series of workshops which I'm putting together, and they're like, it's for someone, like you said earlier, someone it's choosing what works for you. And our salon ambassador, I'm not sure if you've heard of her, but her name is Alex Stewart, and she's written the book Low Tox Life. So she's basically the queen of low tox living, and she comes and gets her hair colored with us every month or so. And I guess you've got to look at all areas of your life. So if you feel like you're going through a really stressful period, you might want to just, go easy on perhaps maybe coloring your hair for a little while. I think there's got to be a little bit of balance in all areas. Mm-hmm. Some people color their hair regularly and have no issues when it comes to fertility or what are health issues or anything like that. So I guess it's like weighing up, looking at your life and going, okay, because we can't avoid toxins as well. Like we step outside and there's car fumes and there's dust and there's a whole heap of things. Like you can go out for dinner and you're not always going to have organic food. So it's weighing it up and going, okay, what's going on for me this week? Like I'm going to eat at home most times. So if you eat out once or twice, it's okay, because sometimes the stress of thinking about it is worse than eating it as well. So there's definitely lots of factors to include when it comes to low tox living. And that's what I sort of try to encapsulate and to get the message out in the salon as well. So like meditating, like when you come into the salon, we have, if you're having a treatment and there's no one else in the salon, I'll cater the meditation for you while you're lying at the basin or something like that. So we want women to feel good from the inside first. And then, do you ever have those days where you wake up and you just feel like death? And it doesn't matter how you look, you just look terrible because you feel like death. But then then your hair can be in a bun and you don't care and it's great because you feel good. Yes. So we want women to like feel good as well as look good. Like the looking good, the hair is just the bonus when you leave there feeling good. Yeah. So that's what we sort of want to.
Yeah, and that's great. That's a brilliant model. And is it something that you're going to reproduce in different locations, Kalli?
I don't know. I've just got to figure this one out first. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. I do have some ideas, but look, if someone came to me and said, I'd like to do this somewhere else, I would perhaps give them a hand. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because I think it's great. And we get women coming from all over Sydney. So yeah. Oh, I'd love to. We get women. I actually get women from Melbourne and Queensland messaging me saying, do you have a salon anywhere else? I'm like, no. So I try and guide them the best way I can. I just say to them, like, this is the color range I use. So if you find a salon using this range, they're most likely on the same path. So check them out.
What is the color range?
Well, we use two. One of them is called Naturalique. It's all on our website as well. And the other one is very new. It's a French product and it's called, I can't pronounce it very well, it's in French, but it's called Végétalement. And it's basically a plant powder. So it has no toxins at all. It's 100% organic and 100% natural. So we have two different ranges. The other one is 98.9%. That's the one that is most popular. The plant product is suitable for most people. It covers grey. It just doesn't lighten hair. So we can't lighten hair, but we can match the colour of your hair and things like that.
Okay. All right. That's handy for people
beautiful.
to know. And
Yeah.
I'll put that in the course notes.
Yeah,
And
that'd be
your
great.
your website will be on the course notes too, so
Yeah,
people can follow
definitely.
that up and check that out.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to add for people listening before we finish up?
Not really. Just especially when it comes to fertility, if women are feeling like they're stuck, or just know that I don't think you ever are, unless you have like no ovaries. Then even then you can adopt. But there's so many options these days that I think everyone goes to your mainstream like food and all that sort of thing, which is great. And I think that for me personally, making those changes helped me get through what I went through in breath work. I was stronger within myself after making those changes. But I just think there's so much out there that to keep looking and to keep going, if that's really the path that you want to go down.
Yeah, absolutely. And be open to things.
Being open to things.
Just be really open to it, and do some research on what's best for you as well.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's a really important factor.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Thanks, Kalli. That's really interesting. So that's Kalli Fardoulis from Blown Away Hair Spa. Has the other business got a name with your?
No, not at the moment. I do have a series of workshops which I haven't got online just yet. They're called Zoe, which is my middle name, and it means life. But it's something I'm working on at the moment. Excellent.
Oh, that's great. So that is Kalli Fardoulis from Blown Away Hair Spa, and you can get in touch with her with .com.au, Blown Away Hair. And I want to thank you for joining me today on the We Are Women podcast.
Thank you, Janine. Thank you.
And that's the end of another episode of the We Are Women podcast. I am your host, Janine Vosper. And remember, if you are having any issues within business and you're just really looking for a bit of clarity, then you can jump on my website, janinevosper.com, and you can book in a free strategy sessions. Please do that. I'd love to have a conversation with you no matter where you are based. And I look forward to you joining me. Oh, don't forget a 5-star review of the podcast when you listen to it. Or you can find the visual on Janine Vosper YouTube channel as well. I look forward to you joining me on the next episode of the We Are Women podcast. Bye for now.
So, do you feel stuck in a rut in business? Visit speechperfect.com.au and download Janine's free ebook to avoid the 5 most common stumbling blocks women face in business. It's jam-packed full of tips to overcome the barriers that could be holding you back from the success that you dream your business will be. We would love you to leave a review of today's episode and share this podcast with other women in need of entrepreneurial inspiration. Subscribe to the next episode now and join the We Are Women community.